Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with how to build a really basic classical music library. And today we're talking about more keyboard music. We've done basic keyboard music. We've done Bach's Goldberg variations, Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, and today we're starting with Chopin. Chopin is the ultimate piano composer. Everybody loves him, and they should, because he's absolutely gorgeously wonderful. Everything that he wrote has a piano in it, mostly piano solo, a couple pieces for piano and orchestra, a couple pieces of chamber music, but mostly piano solo, and mostly short pieces or collections of short pieces. So everything's operating on a totally different basis from the larger multi-sectional works we've been talking about. But you might say this is a large multi-sectional work. It's very multi and very sectional. I'm talking about the Preludes, Opus 28. These can be played separately, or they can be played together. You can do it however you want. The entire 24 of them, because there's one prelude in all of our major and minor keys, one prelude per key. The entire bunch takes about 40 minutes to get through. They're short because they have 24 pieces. It takes 25 minutes or 45 minutes. What am I talking about? We're talking about some pieces that are a minute, a little more than a minute, a little less than a minute. The longest is about actually 4 minutes. That's probably number 15 or so, the raindrop prelude, it's called, because it drops. I don't know why it's called that. My favorite is number 17. Oh my, 17 in A flat. It has the most unbelievably beautiful melody. And we know something about what it may have represented because Chopin told somebody what it was. He was inspired to do it by a clock that struck 11, but never changed the volume of its tones. And at the end, when the tune returns for the last time, you'll hear in the bass, bong, 11 strikes of the bell. They're all marked sforzando, actually, FZ, and they're not supposed to get softer. A lot of pianists get softer anyway, but they shouldn't, and I wish they wouldn't, because that makes it all sound more clock-like and mechanical, which was the whole idea, where this yummy melody is happening on top of it. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Anyway, they're all like gorgeous. So you can listen to them and then play them in little bits or play them in clumps. Lots of pianists play only pieces of them. Some of them play the complete set. I, as a form whore and a big work guy, tend to prefer hearing them in complete sets because I just think they're all so beautiful. And the contrast between them is so marvelous, and it works fabulously well. And you can stop whenever you want. You don't have to you can take a break, you can have a snack, you can do all kinds of things while you're listening to them. But my God, they're beautiful. One of the most fascinating things about them is, first of all, that they were obviously inspired by Bach, by the Well-Tempered Clavier, which is Bach's magnum opus of, works in all the major and minor keys. And that's a group of 48, because there are 2 books. He does it twice. 48 preludes and fugues in all the major and minor keys. Chopin leaves out the fugues and just keeps the preludes. That's very romantic. Romantic people did all kinds of irrational things for poetic reasons. What's a prelude if it's not a prelude to anything? It's just a prelude. What do we make of that? That was Chopin's sort of wonderful, quizzical title for these pieces. And many composers afterwards composed preludes that were independent preludes to something. But the what is left to your imagination, which is one of the things that makes them so evocative, and so interesting to listen to, so poetic, and so each one is a little gem. They're full of suggestion. Let's put it that way. Lots and lots of suggestion, but no answers. One of the advantages to playing them in a clump and listening to the whole cycle is that except for the last one, I guess, the preludes are preludes of the next prelude. So one introduces the next one, and they do, actually. They work really, really well that way. You could argue that way, but then, what happens when you get to the last one? And you're absolutely stuck because it introduces nothing. Yay! No, but seriously, these are exquisite miniatures, full of contrast. Some are just beautiful tunes. Some of them have plenty of virtuosity. Some of them are they run the whole gamut of emotion, all in a very, very, very tiny package. I mean, we talk about how classical music is about perfection and things like that. Now everything has to be just right and all that. Well, this is one of those groups of works where the word's really appropriate, because you can't imagine anything being any different in this little group of pieces. They are absolutely exquisite. And, one of the wonderful things about Chopin is that his emotional immediacy of expression is so great. I mean, he evokes a mood, he sends you a feeling, and it happens in a fraction of a second. So you don't have to worry about form. You don't have to think about the larger picture. It's just music to be experienced in the most physical and direct possible way. And for beginners particularly, I think that's a great thing, because you don't have to worry about technicalities. You don't have to worry about the form of anything. You don't have to worry about, any of the mechanics of classical music, the vocabulary of classical music. Once you get past the fact that the preludes are preludes to nothing, you're in business, and you can just do whatever you want, however you want, as often as you want. And that's the whole idea. And I just want to close by making one further point. Some of you have said that, I didn't do one of these videos for a couple of days. And you said, oh my God, have you stopped doing them? The answer is no. But as I said at the beginning, I do a bunch at once to sort of, juice up the playlist so that you have some things to go through yourself and play with. But I really think that we need to take our time. I mean, this is a short work on the whole, 40 minutes and 25 pieces. They're short little bits, but it's still 40 minutes long, or 24 pieces. It's still 40 minutes long, and there's still 24 of them. I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot to take in, and there's no rush. And I really believe that you should internalize this music, because that's how you're going to come to love it. That's how you're going to get a feeling for it, and you'll get the most out of it that way. Take your time. We live in an era where the attention span is down to less than 5 seconds, and everything has to be fast. Everything is getting condensed. I mean, even diseases. Atrial fibrillation is now AFib. Tardive dyskinesia is TD. The names of orchestras are getting shorter and shorter. The orchestra now is tone. Anything that's more than 3 letters. Kanye West is just ye. His one syllable is all his brain can encompass. Come on. This is music written to be savored and relished and enjoyed in a gourmet kind of way. Rushing it doesn't help. I'm telling you, give yourself a chance and savor it. So check out Chopin's Preludes, Opus 28, if that's technically what they're called, and enjoy them. Enjoy them at length. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.